Good morning, and you're looking live at PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Oh boy, what happened? Well, we're back. We're back. It just vanished off my computer. We want to thank we want to thank Mick Hubert for our introduction there. Mick did a tremendous job, by the way, the old voice of the Gators. And JC, you're on the Titan MR hotline. What do you think about that?
Well, whatever you can do to improve the product, QB. It's all about evolution and
Well,
improvement.
no, it's been there. I just forgot to thank Mick months ago for doing that. But today's program will have JC. We will not have a show tomorrow. I'm not going to be where I can be able to do this, and then we'll be back on Wednesday. Today we'll have Terry Norvell from over in Jacksonville. He's going to talk about his new show that he's starting with Patrick Young. And if you got any comments or questions for that, shoot them our way. JC,
Yeah.
you over there celebrating? You gonna have the fireworks and the sparklers going tonight or tomorrow?
No, we got golf this afternoon. Been at the beach since Friday. Got the tent going up tomorrow. Have a big day planned. The beach has been great. It's been fantastic weather. Very hot, but it's very nice over here. And so, keeping my eye on what's going on in the sports world is not hard. We saw a great golf tournament yesterday, won by Ricky Fowler. First win.
Somebody on this podcast picked Ricky Fowler to win.
And I had Morikawa, who I picked, and he finished second, tied with Adam Hadwin. And, Adam Hadwin, the guy who got tackled by the Canadian security guard, looked just fine playing golf yesterday at 23 under. Morikawa's putt on 18 before it got to the playoff missed by literally a quarter of an inch. If he makes that, then he wins the tournament. But good for Ricky. I'm happy that Ricky Fowler won. I like Ricky Fowler, and I think he's playing really good golf. He's made over $2 million in earnings this year, and his putter is the reason why. But the shots he hit on 18 to birdie it twice, once in the regular regulation, if you will, and then once in overtime, if you will, sudden death, won him the golf tournament because he birdied it twice, and that's really not thought of as a birdie hole. So really happy for Rick.
Yeah, I love me some Ricky Fowler. He's a good dude from everything I hear, and very, very happy for him for sure. JC, real quick, Andy has a question here on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. He says, Shane, David Pollock got axed by ESPN, among others. Does that surprise you?
Wow.
He was very good. Pollock was very good. Some of those guys that got axed needed to get axed. But David Pollock knows football. Good dude. I thought he brought a lot to game day, but
I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised they let him go. But they got a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and they're going all in on Pat McAfee, dude. They've given him $20 million contract, and I guess he is the brand that they think can make them money somehow. I can understand guys like Jalen Rose, Jeff Van Gundy. Those guys don't really make the network money.
Right, but Jeff Van Gundy is outstanding
He's great. No, he's
the basketball.
Great.
Jalen Rose is terrible.
No, he is great. He's great. Jeff Van Gundy's fine. Keyshawn Johnson, though, I mean, it's
terrible.
Nothing.
I don't know. I would love to know the ratings or however they rank these shows of that morning show on ESPN.
Oh.
I don't listen to it very often, but if I'm going somewhere and somehow it goes through my radio station, I'm like, who can possibly listen to this? All they ever talk about is the NBA.
That's it.
And the NFL. Nothing else.
And really, they have to be losing money. All you have to do is look at Disney's stock prices and see that ESPN is a bloated organization that overpays for talent and overpays for a lot of things, like maybe television contracts. And so they're coming into a situation where, the SEC and some of these other conferences, I think it's the Big Ten. I don't know if they've already wrapped up a new TV deal yet, but the SEC, the Pac-12, or Pac-10 as I now call it, some of these conferences haven't finished their new TV deals. And I think there may be some disappointment amongst commissioners on how much money they're going to actually get out of Walt Disney, because Walt Disney is the parent company that's writing these checks. So we'll see. The SEC went to 8 games for 23 and 24, for 24, I should say. And it's because they didn't think they could get the premium they wanted. And this is what I believe, out of the network for 9 games. So that's why they stayed at 8, hoping that things would turn around for Disney and the people who are the benefactors of these television contracts. And let's face it, these contracts are what pay for everything. And that includes women's sports, that includes secondary sports, that includes non-revenue events and things of that nature. And that's the fact. That's what pays for the new football facilities. That's what pays for the new football stadiums. You name it, that's where the money's coming from. And right now they're cutting costs, folks. That is a fact. So anyhow, I don't know I don't know how you give Pat McAfee $20 million and then you cut the fat on some other shows, but they must think that guy is a brand that's going to make them money and get advertising. That's all this is.
When does he start on ESPN?
Well, he started last year. He was on the show last year. He replaced.
No. I think they're paying him $20 million to do his radio show. He does a show, a daily show.
Either way, maybe that's true, but he's an employee that they've put under contract now, and he's also on the game day show. That that's their main gig, right? That's who replaced Lee Corso. So
Dan says he'll work with me and you on ESPN 8 if they're hiring.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll see. It's okay. I mean, I'm not going to lose any sleep over these guys. But Susie Colbert, she's been around for 26 years. She's gone. Steve Young is gone. Great Hall of Fame quarterback. A lot of names are out of there, and they kept some though. But it is a purge, if you will. I mean, they really did. They really trimmed it. So we'll see.
We got a text here on the Titan MR text line. You can always text us at 352-353-7465. This doesn't tell me who it is, but he is watching from Guam. It's 10 p.m. Monday night, loves the podcast and loves his Gators. So, JC, I'm glad he texted. Appreciate the text there, my man from Guam. So I had a meeting with the crack staff and all the great people that put this podcast together the other day. They gave me a list of all our worldwide countries that listen to this silly show.
Really?
Okay. Obviously, we're at a million something people in the United States. Where would you think the second country that listens to this show the most? The second country?
The second country after the United States, I'm going to say, is England.
France,
okay.
Then Singapore, then the United Kingdom, Belgium, Canada, Germany, Sweden, the Dominican. We got people in Spain.
France is burning right now, and they took the internet down in many cases. There's riots going on, so that may be replaced at the number 2 position here.
We have a few in Russia listening. So anyway, I thought that was interesting.
I love the Guam. Who is it from Guam? What's his name?
I don't know. They didn't give me a name.
But they just said, hey, got you from Guam. Hey, thank you guys over in Guam. Agana, by the way, is the capital of Guam. I bet you didn't know that.
We got people in Japan that listen.
Japan?
Bunch of people in Mexico.
Well, QB, do you realize that?
We got people in New Zealand. I wonder if it was the race car driver that just won from New Zealand that listens to the program.
Tune on and listen to Shane and Johnny in the morning.
Dan says the Russians are hacking. They're not listening.
I think the Russians generally like sports. QB, I mean, we've got a lot of them over here playing sports, especially hockey. Just switching gears. Have you seen those Atlanta Braves here recently?
The Atlanta Braves, I did not realize this, but somebody popped up on my Twitter feed, which Twitter's going nuts nowadays. But
yeah.
The Braves were like 27-3 or something in the month of June, right?
I'll check that, but they've won 9 out of their last 10, including 8 in a row, and just basically sent the Miami Marlins to their 3rd or 4th straight loss in Atlanta. And the Marlins were creeping up there in the standings in that division, but Atlanta showed that they're not going to have any part of it. And the Braves are getting that magical combination of incredible pitching, Spencer Strider, and incredible hitting, Ronald Acuna. And it's just working out. Everything is right now. Is there anybody in the National League who you would pick over the Atlanta Braves at the midway point? At the midway point, QB. This is the midway point in baseball, if you can believe that. And the All-Star game is upcoming, but the Atlanta Braves are clearly the class of the National League. Not the Dodgers, not the Astro. Well, the Astros are numerically, but the Braves are the class of the National League. It's obvious.
Yep. Silverback Concrete's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete. You stand on it, we stand by it. All right, JC, I saw something on Twitter, and I've talked about it multiple times on this program, which it's so weird because the Gators win total supposedly is 5.5 or 6. Then you see a publication where the ESPN has the Gators ranked in favored in 8 of their 12 games. Okay,
Yeah.
so I saw this yesterday. I took a screenshot of it. This is from ESPN's FPI, which I think is Football Power Index. Is that what that stands for?
Sounds right.
Okay. This is the college football teams with the best chance to make the playoffs. Now we're still in the 14 playoff. Okay?
4 teams, yeah.
They have their 25 teams that
Gotcha.
they I guess with their data, analytics, whatever you want to call it, this is who they have. Okay. They have Ohio State at 1 at an 82% chance of making the playoffs.
At 1. Okay.
They have the Georgia Bulldogs at 63%.
Yeah.
They have Alabama at 3 at 62%.
Yeah.
They have the Texas Longhorns at 34% at 4.
Wow.
Michigan at 5 at 25%. Southern Cal at 24. Clemson at 24. LSU at 23. Notre Dame at 15. OU at 10%. Okay, that's the top 10. Now I'm going to keep going real quick. I'm going to do this kind of quickly. And this is in order from 11 to 25. Penn State 10%. Oregon 4.9. The semis at 4.4. The Utah Utes 3.9. Tennessee 2.5. TCU 1.2. Wisconsin at 1%. Ole Miss at 0.9. Oregon State at 0.8. The Washington Huskies at 0.6. North Carolina at 0.5. Texas Tech 0.5. A&M at 0.4. The Mighty Gators 0.2%. And the Baylor Bears 0.4%. So
well, my question would be, who is this year's TCU going to be? Because those top 4, it's too easy to just say that. You can say that every
year. Not Texas. That's
okay. They're in the top 4. All right.
Yeah, they're number 4.
Well, they're playing Alabama this year, so one of them's going to have a loss. But I think there's got to be a team somewhere in that 11 to 25 range, maybe today.
Penn State. It would be. My guess would be Penn State.
That's a good
Penn
guess.
State is supposed to be really good on offense, which is hard to believe.
That's hard to believe. Now, I read that too, QB. I read the same thing about Penn State. So Pennsylvania State would be a good guess, but there's going to be someone you got to look at that's going to be this year's TCU or last year or the year before Cincinnati or whatever, right? So there's going to be one of those teams. It's not going to be those top 4. It never seems to be. It could be, I guess, but I see somebody else slipping in. That generally happens. It generally happens.
Greg says, so you're saying there's a chance. Well, ESPN says there's a chance.
Yeah, we got 66 days or something like that until it kicks off, and can't get here soon enough. But I'm relishing in the opportunity to read all these magazines, that most of which are already out, but the one I like the most is coming out this month in July, and that's the Phil Steele magazine. Even though it's overwhelming with the information, I gloss over 98% of it all. But I, for some reason, like to read what he says about the teams I care about, the conferences I like, and the schedules. So, that's coming here. There's always got to be somebody you don't think of that's going to really step up this year. And I think Texas is a team to watch out for, even though they're playing at Alabama. Their quarterback situation, if he stays healthy, and their athletic ability, at the other positions, just the athleticism alone could really get Steve Sarkisian far this season. I know last year they played well at times and they looked awful at other times. I mean, they lost games on the road last year. I think they lost to Texas Tech last year. And that kind of team is not going to be a championship caliber team. But for some reason, I go back to the Texas Longhorns this year. I think if they stay healthy, they can do some damage. And I'm not overwhelmed by Oklahoma in any sense of the imagination. They were as bad as many that did. Well, they had a losing record last year, I think 6-7 or something. So 6-6 maybe. I don't know, but that's a losing record to Oklahoma fans. That's for sure.
Yeah. John says on
Can't
Facebook Live,
stop
brought to you by
anything.
Mellon Law. Did you see the report on Swamp 24/7 that Mertz was the number 3 in returning QBs and big pass plays down the field? Did not. I have zero concerns about the quarterback position. There was another one here. Oh, about so JC, you may not be aware of this, but a couple of weeks ago, I think the first part of June, the Gators got a commitment from a 7'2" center named John Bowl, no relation to Manute Bowl,
Okay.
but he decommitted. But where is it right here? It says that Dan says Bowles' agents just working these NIL deals to leverage overtime elite. Bowl will go there, then direct to the NBA. 2 of the top 4 drafted players went to that league. Yeah, so it's a league where kids can skip high school basically. It's not the G League, it's another league. And
well,
so anyway.
I saw on Twitter yesterday where the football, a lot of these future Gators recruits have basically shut down their recruitment, meaning they are 100% committed to Florida. And I believe them when they say that today, but I do know that firm commitments can always be reopened, or closed recruiting can always reopen. So, it's great to hear. It's great to see. They've got a hell of a recruiting class, it looks like, that he's building right now, and that's what he has to have. But I don't yet throw a party over the 24 class yet. Just because they say
we're talking basketball, JC.
I know, but I'm talking football. I don't know why you want to talk about basketball right now. It's about 5 people care about basketball. Even though I did see the basketball team at the Hawkstone Country Club having dinner on Wednesday night. The whole team was there, except Coach Golden was not there. But I saw the team.
Why would they go to Hawkstone to
after I played golf? I walked by and said hi to a couple of them. I said, I'd post all you guys up, no problem. They started laughing.
Can you explain to me why they went there to eat?
I don't know, but
did you pick up the tab for them or what?
The staff at Hawkstone was very nervous about the Gator basketball team. I looked at them. I said, "What are you guys nervous about? It's not the Lakers rolling in here. It's an important group of kids, but they're just college kids, guys. Just set the tables up and have a good time with them." My God, you would have thought that the damn Lakers were rolling in. I don't know. Yeah. But, hey, good for the Gators. They're going to go eat at the club. Go eat at the club, QB. It's a high-dollar thing.
Yes, it is. It's great. Cliff says on Facebook, Gino says, how about Slick Rick winning the Rocket Mortgage? We talked about that at the beginning of the show, Gene. You must have missed it.
Well, those 2 shots he hit on 18 won for him, and got some nice breaks with Morikawa bombing it over the green on 18 in the first playoff hole and missing a birdie putt on 18 in regulation. That was this close. If he makes that putt, he goes up 2 strokes, and Ricky won't be able to catch him. But that's sometimes how you win, right? You need a little luck.
Yes. For all our, I want to get some comments because I actually watched some of it yesterday. A lot of it, by the way, in the great city of Chicago. They had a NASCAR race, first time ever in downtown Chicago on Lakeshore Drive, Michigan Avenue. It blew me away watching that. They had a rain delay. Yeah. I'm curious of all our NASCAR listeners if they know how long it took them and when they shut the city and those streets down to put up the barricades and the stands. It had to be months ago. And I was floored at how fast these dudes were going. Yeah. On Michigan Avenue and Lakeshore, and they were going like 150 miles an hour, and then they'd slow down to make a turn at like 45. But a dude named Shane Van Grissom or something had never raced in NASCAR. They flew this dude over from New Zealand, and he wins the damn race. So I don't know if anybody else saw it, but I thought it was fascinating.
You loved it, didn't you, QB? You really loved it.
I did. I spent many years on Lakeshore, Michigan Avenue.
Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, Gisbergen. They call him SVG.
Yeah, followed by Justin Haley, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson.
Chase Elliott's my guy.
And then Kyle Busch. So I have a very close friend who is represented by McDonald's. He owns franchises, and he's up there watching this race, right, with his wife, and they send me a picture of a dude standing in the middle between he and his wife, and it's a race car driver, And the other people that were on the text thread were like, "Oh wow, that's awesome! Oh my God, that's cool! Wow, unbelievable!" I text them back and I go, "Who is the guy in the red shirt?" And everybody was appalled at my lack of knowledge that was Kurt Busch. I said, "Oh well, Kurt Busch. If Kurt Busch walked into the condo here, I wouldn't know who he is." But that's the thing, is that in racing, he's a big name. So is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch finished in 5th yesterday. So McDonald's is a big sponsor of all this. They put on a great show. And these friends of mine, Bubba Wallace also, I think, drives for them. These friends of mine love the racing. And so they were up in Chicago watching it. I didn't even know it was being held there. I couldn't have told you why. I don't know.
Yeah. Andy, who's from up in that area, he said, I think it was a week of total shutdown, and NASCAR only paid $500,000. Lori Lightfoot crafted that deal. Dude, I mean, first of all, if they only shut the streets down for a week, that's crazy. But
yeah. Well, it seemed like it was a success, right? I mean, you watched it, so
yeah, I thought it was fast because it's not like the Formula One where they race through the towns and all that stuff. This is NASCAR. It's something that's never been done, and just to shut down a city like Chicago. Think about that, JC. You've been to Chicago and you shut down Michigan Avenue and Lakeshore Avenue.
Yeah.
Boy, what a mess that had to be for people trying to get to work.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I think folks basically just said forget it work. I mean, Monday is not a work day. It is for many, but it's also
no. I'm not talking about just for today. I'm talking about the last week.
Well,
you're talking about Chicago, dude. It's horrible traffic, even when the damn red lights and everything are working. It's terrible. It's freaking terrible.
So, is it better than Gainesville?
Oh, Gainesville's horrible. Let me tell you something. I ain't real smart, but what do they call it when what is the word I'm looking for, JC, when you're talking about roadways?
Gridlock.
Gridlock, whatever, the red lights, the one that's a half a mile up in front of you. The coordination is horrible.
They're not synced.
Correct. So we need to hire a new person, whoever's in charge of that.
What bothers me is I'm doing 65 miles an hour down a normal road. Some nebulous car or random car pulls up to an intersection. Automatically, the light changes, and I got to hit the brakes so that one guy can take a left turn. It's okay. That's just the way it is, sensors and so forth. But, yeah, it's tough driving around with all those intersections in old Hogtown, baby. But it's okay. Listen, there's more people coming in. Florida is just the people are flooding to the great state of Florida, and I think we all know why. But
Tom, who was an educator for many, many years in Alachua County and now has been retired, and all he does is play golf. He says they need to sync up. You know who Tom is. They need to sync the lights so they always are the same color at the same time. Yeah, I mean, it ain't hard.
It's just like I said.
We don't have to go to Lawton Childs Elementary and be taught by Tom to know how to do that.
I don't know why it isn't, man. There's an intersection every 200 yards in this town, Newberry Road.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, all right, JC. A lot of people here want to know if you're playing golf today.
Yeah. We got a big match at the St. John's Community today. The Marsh Creek, which is affiliated with the Hawkstone Country Club, is fully booked. Bad planning on my part. Didn't get in early enough. So the Muni for $49 is ready to go. That's a great golf course. If you ever have a chance, golf fans of this podcast, if you ever have a chance, you want to save a little money and play a really nice track with a lot of wildlife and some interesting holes, go to the St. John's Muni on Highway 207, right off 95. It's right off I-95. It is a bargain, and it is a good course for what you pay. $49. I mean, my God, it's hard to keep a golf course right. But for $49 on a holiday weekend, I'll take it. I'll try that. Not that I care.
We got a message here on YouTube. Remember, you can send us messages. You can comment on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, any one of those there's millions of the different platforms we're out there. But this comes from Jim. Jim says, you guys are talking golf. I'm an old guy. Did y'all watch the U.S. Senior Open?
Yeah. Hey,
I did see it. Bernhard Langer just wore their butts out.
Did you know he's won 46 times on that tour alone? Just on that tour alone, Bernhard. And he's a major winner, of course, the Masters. What other majors did he win? There's probably another one. But This guy is taking over the Champions Tour or the Senior Tour at Champions Tour, and 46 wins on that tour. It's incredible for that guy, and he's 65, I think he is. Great story about Bernhard Langer. His family, his father was being carted off by the Nazis to a concentration camp. He jumps out of the train because there was an opportunity to somehow, and ran for 20 miles to freedom. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a Bernhard Langer. And I read that.
I did not know that story.
Yeah, that's his father. His father escaped the Nazis, and it was on his way to.
His dad did. I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Then of course Bernhard was born, but the guy doesn't seem to age, man. He's very similar to what he looked like 20 years ago. He just plays the same golf game. He's incredible short game. I was glad to see that. Yeah. So tell our wonderful senior listener there that we are on top of the Champions Tour. Damn right.
Yeah. That's not the champ. Is it called the Champions Tour?
I think so.
Yeah. What did it used to be called?
The Seniors Tour?
Yeah, that's right. They changed it to the Champions Tour because I think that's dumb. So a lot of them dudes, some of them dudes never won anything.
They're not champions. No.
Yeah, they're not champions.
No, I mean, Miguel Angel Jimenez, awesome dude, but he ain't no champion. But he's got a great life. So maybe he's a champion of life, QB.
He could be. All right, JC, be careful. No show tomorrow, JC. We'll have you back on Wednesday. We'll do our Peachland Dental picks. It's the John Deere Classic this week.
Oh, my God. Get ready for some birdies.
42 under par.
So we had 24 under yesterday win it or tie for it, and then they've had the playoff. My goodness. Those greens have no chance. No chance.
It ain't hard. If the PGA Tour would like me to come in and help them prepare these golf courses, because the Detroit Country Club, historic golf course they played on this week. It's simple, people. Yeah. The way you make these boys struggle, make the fairways tighter and grow the damn rough. It's that simple.
That's it. That's 100% what it is. The greens, they will adjust to the greens, but you're right. It's the rough and the fairways.
And here's the other thing too and then move the patrons and the spectators out from the rough, because when they do blow it way right, they've trampled it all down, so they have a good lie.
Well, that's what happened with Ricky yesterday on the first playoff hole. He blows it right. The other two guys are in the fairway. He gets this unbelievable nice drop in an area that's been padded down by foot traffic. So that worked out, isn't it? Sometimes you got to be lucky. And he got lucky that Morikawa bombed his shot from the fairway into the rough behind.
Well, speaking of that, people, we talk golf on here. People don't like it, but they talk about this sport's a game of inches, that sport's a game of inches. Nothing more than golf, because if you watch the playoff hole where Ricky made the birdie putt, Adam Hadwin hit it about 3 feet, but he spun it so much, Ricky got a read off of it. And then if Morikawa's approach shot checks like it's supposed to,
or
he spins it back to probably a tap in, but it bounced, hit the rough, and he couldn't spin it back. So it's a game of inches. There's no question.
It is a game of inches, and Morikawa's put on 18 before the playoff, could have gone in, and that would have been the end of it. So, yeah, it just sometimes, again, it's better to be lucky than good. But Ricky hit the shots he had to hit to win it, man. That's the thing. He hit those shots and birdied that hole twice in a row. Hey, good for him. He's the winner. Yeah, he didn't play the back nine that great. He didn't have many birdies. In fact, I think he had one birdie on the back nine. But he played well enough to give him that cushion. And I think he's going to be a factor in the British. I do. Hoylake is a course that I think he'll play well because he's long and he'll play it well. I think he will. I think he'll be a factor, and I'm already picking Rory to win that. So we'll see. That's in 3 weeks.
Yeah. All right, JC, have a good 4th of July. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Take a quick time out. We come back. We'll be joined by Terry Norvell over in Jacksonville. Going to talk to him about his new program he's going to have with Gator great Patrick Young. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Hey, welcome back to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate, with premium brands like Visors, Rooftop, Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Fat Tuesday, Starbucks, and the HBC's restaurant Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the hottest restaurant in Florida in the heart of Gator Nation. That's Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We're going to have you go to the Titan MR hotline. We're going to be joined by Terry Norvell, good friend of the program. How you doing, Terry?
Hey, Shana, what's going on, my man?
Oh, not much at all. Just wanted to get you on. I know, first of all, before we talk about what you got going on with Patrick Young, just let me get your thoughts. You're a baseball guy. Just your overall assessment of, I mean, obviously the Gators came up a little bit short. I mean, they lost to a damn good baseball team, but just your thoughts on the Gator baseball season.
Well, what a fun follow. I mean, what a fun team, very talented, great storylines. I'm with you. LSU and Florida baseball, razor thin. I mean, you take the two blowout losses, you cancel those out, and the damn national championship came down to a 4-3, 11-inning game in game one. That was the deciding game, and we all know Langford ripped the ball apart, and LSU made a nice catch. But, I mean, that was a close series. I know there were two blowout losses, but, you know, again, they kind of equal out each other out. Shane, the difference between the teams was pretty obvious in that series. Florida could not consistently throw strikes, and LSU could. I mean, and that was a little bit of a bugaboo all year. It reared its head at times all year with Sproat and Waldrip, and of course Caglione. Florida just couldn't I thought that was the only difference in that 3-game series between Florida and LSU was the Gators just got in those ruts where they could not throw strikes. You can only do that so long to a really good team. But what a fun year, what a fun run again for the SEC. And Shane, I've had a statement I've said for years in all sports, and it's so true coming out of this baseball season. It's hard to win championships. It's really, really hard to win championships and take it all the way. And I think the baseball national championship might be the hardest. I mean, round after round and grind after grind. It's a long way from postseason play to holding that trophy up out in Omaha.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, a lot of people get so upset with Sully or whoever their head coach is when it comes to baseball or regardless of whatever sport it is. But he has taken the Gators there 8 times in his 15 or 16 years. So that's pretty damn impressive. And they're getting a bunch of transfers. I think they're going to be very good next year. All right. So, Terry, you're going to have a new show. Is it 5 days a week with Patrick Young, the Gator Great? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me come on and promote it. Yeah, Patrick and I started getting together and talking about this back in December at his golf tournament that he put on. And yes, it'll debut. We're looking at August 1st, so first of August. It is a daily 1 hour lunch show to start with. We expect it to kind of morph into a 2 hour show. You'd rather go 1 hour and turn it into two than vice versa. But it'll be on the ESPN station out of Jacksonville, ESPN 690 Jacksonville. Noon to 1, Monday through Friday. So, it'll be every day, Monday through Friday. Patrick is ecstatic about it. He's excited. He's really his broadcast career has taken off. He's so good on air, and obviously this is radio. He's so good on television as well. So he's excited. I'm excited. Open forum show. It'll be it's not just a college show. Patrick's well versed in everything. It will be a heavy flavor of the Jaguars, heavy flavor of the Gators. And then everything else will fall in, FSU, Georgia, SEC, ACC, Braves, things going on, the story of the moment going on in sports. But we're excited. We'll have we have lined up a Jaguars beat writer that will be on twice a week on the show with us, and then as needed via the phone. And Shane, what we're going to do is we're going to do it live on location. Probably take a couple weeks to work out the kinks in studio. But no, the concept is we're going to do it live from different locations Monday through Friday and be out in the community.
We got a couple Facebook Lives here. Greg wants to know, are you and Patrick getting $20 million like old boy Pat McAfee?
Well, yeah, that's what I don't know if y'all noticed, but over the weekend, I don't want to brag, but over the weekend, ESPN cut all those salaries to afford Patrick and I. Yeah, they had to get rid of, they had free money. So you know what? I think we came in each $1 less because they didn't want to make McAfee mad because we're just starting, But yeah, we're $1 under McAfee, I believe, both of us.
Yeah. Andy says, Terry, can your new podcast utilize any of the ESPN personalities that have recently been let go? Well,
it's funny. I was kidding over the weekend on Facebook saying that we've made an offer to Susie Colbert. So Susie wants to call and join up. I know she's looking for work. That's kind of a spinoff, though, with regard to the SEC network. Think about Patrick and his connections with SEC network, and he'll be able to reach out. So we expect to have a lot of his contemporaries from SEC network, ESPN. It's all one big world, in the hierarchy over there. So we expect, particularly with Patrick's draw, to have some pretty big names on.
We got a text on the Titan Mar text line from Warren in Omaha, Nebraska. He says, Terry, I'm excited to listen to your program. How is Patrick doing, and will he be back with the SEC network?
Yeah, let me catch people up. I don't want to tell all Patrick's news. That's his business, but he's raring to go. We've been in obviously communication a lot. He's raring to go. He had a infection that they had to clear up, and I believe he's still in the hospital because that's the most quarantine place you can be, a quarantine wing of the hospital. But I mean, he is raring to go. They're finishing up, and like I said, we'll probably be in studio for the first couple of weeks working out the kinks. And Patrick may be in studio with us, or maybe on phone. But no, August 1, he's ready to go and doing much better. I'm sure day one. I think the proper thing to do would be give him 5 minutes to explain where he's at health wise and how things are going. But he's a neat guy, Shane. Post accident, he hasn't really missed a beat. He is fully individually mobile. Drives, has a customized truck, but he drives himself. We've had many meetings, and he pulls up in this beautiful Gator blue truck, and it's customized. And I mean, the guy. He's a neat guy. He's a real inspiration and a neat guy. And SEC Network has stood behind him 150%.
That's awesome. Another text on the Titan Mar text line from John in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He says, Terry, what are the Jaguars gonna do with the new stadium? Where do you think they're gonna play?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's got to get approved first. I think it will. It's going to be a battle. New mayor's in office, and it's got to get approved first. And man, I'll tell you, there's a million different ideas. I would do it right down the street in Gainesville. Now, I know UF Stadium, they want to do some renovating to their stadium. I would do it there. I think it's just the simplest. There's also talk that they may just spread it out over multiple years and keep playing in the stadium. And, then you're walking by cranes and construction sites for 2 or 3 years. So I think it's going to pass. It needs to pass. The stadium really, to me, Jacksonville has tried many, many, many things to develop downtown, and nothing's worked. Skyway Express and incentives and the landing, none of that's worked. If I was running Jacksonville, I would ante up. I would build this incredible state-of-the-art stadium. And Shane, I would think within 5 years of that thing getting built, we will know one way or the other, will downtown ever develop or not? If it doesn't develop with this brand new stadium, I would kind of say to hell with trying to develop downtown Jacksonville. But it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up where they're going to play while it's being done, if it gets done, and I think it will.
Now, you said if you were in charge, would you build an entire new stadium, or would you just add on, make the old Gator Bowl up to date? What would you prefer?
That's what they're doing. They're basically, it's going to be, and that's the other thing that hurts Jacksonville a little bit. A lot of times when a new stadium goes up, such as the Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, they build it next to the existing one. Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium got built, and there was space next to the old one. Well, there's no space, so they can't build next door. But no, it's going to be the same location. And basically, other than a little bit of the bones from what you can tell, it's really going to be a new stadium. The design came out. It's a neat design, fan friendly with regard to the sun and the uncomfortableness of early season games. So it's going to be right there. I mean, the price tag is huge, and it might be a little bit of a battle. You got to get approval. The new mayor just doesn't stamp it. The city council has to get the number of votes as well. But I think it's going to go through. The Jaguars have done a real good job too. They tried to do some expansion a couple of years ago and almost had a little bit of we're the Jaguars. You're going to agree for anything we want to do. And it got shot down. Some stuff in Lot J got shot down, and they really weren't real transparent. They've really done an about face and really been transparent this go around.
What is the vibe around there? Obviously, the Jazz going to the playoffs last year have a lot of players coming back, especially on offense. Just what's the feeling like in Jacksonville right now?
Fans are over the moon, and they're supposed to be. Fans are they don't even have to play this regular season. The Jags are going to win the division. They're going in the playoffs. The fans are over the moon. Shane, it's intrigue. I'm very intrigued to see what happens because, and say you follow the NFL real close. The second half of the season, of course, the Jaguars got better. You saw them. They improved in that second half and that incredible run to get them in the playoffs and then the playoff win. But Shane, there were a lot of strange things that went their way too. I mean, if you look back at the Dallas game and hell, even the playoff win, I mean, you don't come back from 27-0 ever. There were some strange things as well. It's an intriguing team. Trevor Lawrence made great strides, but still, all the way through the end of the year, he still had a propensity to make that just awful turnover. I mean, the reason they were down 27-0 was because he threw 4 interceptions. So a lot of intrigue. How good are they? How fortunate were they last year? Sometimes the sports gods smile on you. There was a little bit of that, but yeah. And their division, Shane. Their division doesn't look that strong at all.
Well, Calvin Ridley's going to help them.
Yeah. And Ridley should come in and on offense, they got the guy that can throw it. They got the guys that can catch it. And with Tank Bigsby coming in behind ETN, they've got guys that can run it. The concern to me and most people, the offensive line. I mean, Taylor, the ex-Gator, he's gone. Robinson's suspended. And there's just a lot of kind of hold your breath interior stuff. Who had a great year that was absolutely overshadowed was the kid from Kentucky, Luke Fortner. Came in from Kentucky. You remember him. He was a great offensive lineman. He never played center. He was a guard tackle and played center all year. And but no, the interior offensive line worries me a little bit. And they had the first-round draft choice from Oklahoma. That's the concern on offense. Defensively, they just don't have a scary guy right now. On the defensive line, the linebackers, or even the secondary, they don't have we've got to go win the game with defense right now, and they don't have one of those game-changing players. Is it going to be Josh Allen finally? Will it be Walker from Georgia in year 2? Defensively, think about last year. Defensively, they had Kansas City on the 1-yard line, 99 yards away, blood in the water with the backup quarterback Henney in for Mahomes. And what they do? They went 99 yards when there was blood in the water. They've got to turn that defense into a game where the defense can win when needed.
Yeah. Ruzover State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit overinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. A few more minutes with Terry Norvell. Terry, Dan has a question. If this stadium deal doesn't pan out, could Jacksonville lose the Jaguars and the Florida-Georgia game?
I mean, I think it would be red lights going off, blinking red lights going off. It's the oldest stadium right now in terms of new versus refurbished. Stadiums make you a lot of money. There's a reason Florida, Georgia doesn't do a 10-year deal. They do a 2-year deal, right? They kind of keep an eye on everything. It would be a blow. It would be a blow. It's just, and Shane, you know how quickly arenas and stadiums they get out. They get old. They get old quick, and you can't really have a sports bar with the old timey big boxy TVs. You got to have the 70, 80 whatever inch. That would be the equivalent. It would be red flags everywhere if it gets voted down. It really would.
Yeah, for sure. All right, before we let you go, there's a bunch of texts on here wanting to know Terry Norvell's Gator football win total, because that's the big talk around.
Sure.
Just so you know, I'm set at a minimum of 8 games they win this year. What's Terry Norvell think?
I'll probably be more in that 7. 7 will be that dicey number for me. Do they go over? Do they go under? The schedule's so hard.
I think people, and sorry to interrupt you, but I don't think, I know everybody says the schedule. I saw somewhere the other day, somebody came out and said the Florida Gators this year is the hardest schedule in America. I don't see that because I think there's only 2 teams better than them right now, and that's Georgia and LSU. I think everybody else is kind of the same, personally, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. Kentucky scares you, and they've turned the series around. Teams like Kentucky, and is it a guaranteed win? I will tell you this, though. My man Shane Matthews, you learned me up years ago. I think it started with Emory Jones and certainly with Anthony Richardson. The quarterback, Graham Mertz, obviously, but the quarterback has got to make the basic throws. And I think Mertz will. I like Mertz. I'm a Mertz guy. Is he going to have a Joe Burrow second year at LSU season? No, he's not 60 touchdowns and 5 interceptions and 5,000, 6,000 yards. But I think Mertz will make the basic throws, which you have to have. Man, you have harped on that, Shane. There's such a big difference. If you miss that basic swing pass on first down, it was going to get you 5 yards. 2nd and 10 in the SEC is light years different than 2nd and 5. I think they're going to be okay. Defensively, remains to be seen. I love the big guys they brought in, the transfer portal on the defensive line. That's another area, Shane. You've harped that Florida can't be that small and undersized on the defensive line. I think they finally changed that. But, I'm in that 7 number would be dicey. Do they go over? Do they go under? I would set it at 7 if I was trying to make somebody uncomfortable to tell you how many wins.
Yeah, no doubt. So it should be a lot of fun. We're getting very, very close. All right, Terry, before we let you go, let everybody know again when the program starts and if anybody wants to get involved, who they need to contact.
Yeah, easy. You can reach out to me on Facebook, drop me a direct message. But Monday, Tuesday, August 1st, the Young and Norvell show on ESPN 690 out of Jacksonville. Again, that's a midday lunch hour show. We hope after the first few weeks to take it on location every day. We'll work out the kinks in studio. But noon to 1, Monday through Friday, kind of a in the community lunch show. And looking forward to it. I know Patrick's really looking forward to it. And a lot of people, he's such a neat story. They want to know what Patrick Young's up to. And you'll know every day coming up soon.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate you taking the time, Terry. Have a good 4th, and we'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, buddy. Anytime. See you, Shane.
Yep, that's Terry Norvell. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Let's get to This Day in Sports. It's brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. This day in sports, in 2004, Wimbledon women's tennis, Maria Sharapova becomes the first Russian player to win Wimbledon, beating the defending champ Serena Williams 6-1, 6-4. That's this day in sports, brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. I want to thank JC and Terry Norvell for joining our program today. That should be a good show. I think it's called Young and Old, with Terry and Patrick Young, who's very good, by the way, at what he does. Love listening to him on the SEC network. Again, tell all your friends and family to follow our programs on all the different outlets. We're going to have a contest. I don't know when our people that run this program are going to put it up, but we'll probably do it on Wednesday since no show tomorrow. Go celebrate with your friends and families, the 4th of July. But we're going to have a concert, not a concert. I wish it was going to be a concert, a contest. And it's going to go for like a month. And it's one of those deals where you like and share. I don't really understand how it works, but you're going to get dinner at Spurrier's with me and maybe the head ball coach. You never know, whoever wins that. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll start that on Wednesday and go from there. Dan says Patrick is great and an inspiring story. There is no question at all. Andy says Ben Shelton plays to Wimbledon tomorrow at 6 a.m. Yeah, I'm anxious to see how Ben plays now that his dad, I think his dad is coaching him. Maybe that's a good thing for him, maybe bad. Yeah, Dan, we'll have JC live in concert. That would be somewhat entertaining for sure. If you missed it, we talked a lot about, I was just fascinated by NASCAR being in downtown Chicago. I know we have a lot of people that listen to this program. They're probably on vacation, all our NASCAR fans, but I'd like for them to, I think they normally have they have a raceway in Chicago where they normally, just a track, but they went downtown all through the city. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, if you missed it, the Bowl kid, not Manute Bowles' kid, there's no relation. He decommitted from the Gators. I'm in agreement. I think he's going to go play in that one league where those high school kids can go and then get drafted straight to the NBA. There's a lot of talk in the NBA about Damian Lillard wanting to be traded to the Miami Heat. We'll see if that happens, and go from there. But this is that time of the year when there's not a whole lot going on. But we appreciate you joining our program. Again, you can always text our program at 352-353-7465. You can also send us questions and comments on YouTube and all the other platforms out there. Have your friends and family, as I said, follow our program. Dan says Trinity Thomas is working for Paris 2024. I did see that. So hopefully that works out. I was flipping through the channels yesterday and they had the national championship swim meet going on. And obviously Katie Ledecky swims out of the Gator Swim Club. She was upset by some 16-year-old girl in the 200 freestyle. But she'll be competing in the Olympics as well. And he says the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet was built about 20 years ago, sitting vacant now. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Thanks for that information, Andy. Anyway, that'll do it for today's program. Again, no show tomorrow. We'll be back live, regular schedule time on Wednesday. Have a great 4th. Be safe, folks, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Take care.